We are legends.
Welcome to We RRR Legends, the unofficial podcast for DC Legends Mobile. I am Slowbeast, and with me as always is Hate Mail. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it.
Breaking news.
Alright, so the new characters are exactly who we predicted. Martian Manhunter and Gorilla Grodd. Oh, no, wait. It was another Robin and Clayface.
Well, not who we were hoping for. I think a lot of people were disappointed for these characters, but Clayface actually sounds interesting.
It's not that I hate Clayface, it's that there's just so much Batman universe taking over this game.
Yeah, well, Batman is the most popular character in DC, so.
Yeah, I know, but there's so many we could pull from. But let's can we talk about the reworks? Or are you still a little sensitive about it?
I did have a minor meltdown when I saw it was Catwoman, as I really just hope it's just a minor adjustment, and maybe she's slightly better, but she doesn't really need to be better. My gut opinion is that, or my thought on why they're doing it is they feel removing all buffs and stunning is probably too powerful. Because apparently Deathstroke and Baby Lobo wasn't too powerful, so they just left them alone. But Catwoman, I don't get this one. You know, they're probably making her more of a niche. They seem to want more niche characters than all around good characters. And Catwoman is an all around good character. She just works in most teams, in most comps, and she does shut down certain characters. And I don't think they want a character that can just do everything with that. Maybe they're adding, we don't know what's coming down the road, but maybe, stun synergy is going to be a bigger thing or something along those lines. I don't know. I'll wait and see, but I'm not happy about this change. I don't feel like she needed it. If they wanted to do a Bat character, they could have done, any of the three Batmen could have used a tweak probably. Some people like World's Greatest Detective enough to say he doesn't need it. There's several other Batman characters that could use it. Nightwing, they could have gave him a little bump because he's not the greatest character either. But
Yep. And I take it you don't really care they're reworking Robin.
a couple people were upset about that. I wasn't because I just geared him this weekend because of the rework. But I've never really thought he was a character that was good. So he was on the bottom of my list of characters to do. So I think overall he'll probably be a good change, most likely. We'll see, but I don't think too many people are upset about that. People seem universally perplexed by the Catwoman rework.
Yeah, like you said, maybe it's something that they felt was going to be overpowered with the characters that are coming out. So.
But let's talk about these characters that are coming out a little bit.
Okay.
The Red Robin, he's the more interesting of the bunch, I guess. Now that we have, 4 Robins in the game now? 3 or 4?
3. Red Robin, Nightwing, Robin. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, somebody said a 4th, but I was trying to think of who the 4th was.
Yeah, I'll take a look while you're talking.
It sounds like he's going to be a character that does some type of crits or turn meter up. I kind of get that vibe because this is using his genius level intellect. He supports the team, allowing them to stay one step ahead of their enemies. So maybe he gives them extra turns. And then they were saying team him with, I guess he's going to have invisibility too. Team him with characters can't hit what you can't see for invisibility buffs. For a team that keeps on hitting, add him to the Fists of Fury team with Nightwing, Power Girl, and Green Arrow Castaway. So I don't know if he's going to get extra turns or allow other people to take extra turns or turn meter up. Something along those lines. I just get that vibe from him.
Oh, we forgot Red Hood.
Oh,
I guess technically he's a Red Robin.
Yeah, he was formerly Robin. So, okay, so we have 4 Robins technically in the game now.
Technically, yeah. So yeah, it does sound like his kit's going to be about crits there.
Maybe. I don't. Before I thought I thought I read crit, but it sounds like he's going to be more turn meter up, extra hits, assists, those types of things.
Oh no, it's the Robin rework that had a bunch of crits in it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was the Robin rework that I saw that in. I thought I read that somewhere, but I was getting confused. Clayface sounds like he's going to have. It says that he's gonna have shape-shifting abilities, and then he distracts his foes to make allies invisible and smothers enemies in speed downs while copying their abilities. That actually sounds quite interesting.
That does sound interesting.
I like the copying abilities because one of the things I've always wanted with the whole Deathstroke thing is just I'll keep buffing you. That way I don't even want to use Red Hood. I'll keep buffing you to give Deathstroke a ton of buffs and then steal them all. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. You wouldn't worry about so much certain characters that buff themselves to the max because you're just going to steal them.
The only thing that does give me a little bit of the phrase here, it says create the rise of the Batman team with Robin, Clayface, Red Hood, and Catwoman to have a powerful mix of purges and critical hits. So it sounds like Catwoman's still going to have purges. So if they change her stun to steal buffs, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, Catwoman should be a thief. Goes with her lore. So if they do that, I could be okay. And then it says, or go with a quiet on the set team with Captain Cold, Mirror Master, Superboy to keep opponents slowed and stunned. With the exception of Superboy in that team, that actually sounds like a really fun team. That was one of the ones I was thinking about when I saw the slows was Mirror Master, Captain Cold. So that could be fun. Or Killer Frost and Mirror Master. So that has some potential. And what they're saying with Catwoman, when you read the post that they had, is she's a stealthy thief who avoids deadly attacks, hiding behind invisibility and stolen immunities and awareness. She also steals True Sight and Purge buffs. So if she still purges buffs like she did, I just worry they're going to get rid of Hit and Run.
Yeah, they're probably going to nerf Hit and Run so that it doesn't remove all buffs. I mean, that's kind of what people are saying that they think is going to happen. And that would be the worst thing because that's really her best ability.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to have some compensating. Because, I mean, right now, Deathstroke and Penguin and Dr. Fate, if you use him as a leader, which I've never seen, are the only people that have awareness. So unless more characters down the road have awareness, you may not get as much use. I mean, right now Deathstroke's still super prevalent. I still see him on 50% of my board, but there will come a day where he slows down even more, and you may not even see awareness very much.
And then the rework of Damon Wayne, Robin.
The Damon Wayne, this is where it says he's a martial artist. He delivers deadly attacks from the shadows to wear his opponent down and keep him out of harm's way. It sounds like they might keep his bleed. Yeah, maybe they'll add more bleeds to him and
I don't know.
more crit stuff. They don't really give much. They team with Deadshot, Hired Gun, Clayface, Batman, and Cape Crusader for a critical hit heavy team.
Yeah, see that critical hit heavy team. That's what got me thinking maybe he does do crit ups instead of bleeds. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's going to upset the people who are using Robin.
Well, he's only got one
like
ability with bleeds, and he has to be invisible for the bleeds to work. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I don't think his bleeds is that. I guess it's the way it's his speed opening. I think he might be a rework that people are happy with. To be honest with you.
Overall, yeah, it's not like you see him that often. So yeah, I could see that. In February, we've got.
Well, the featured alliance characters, they have Clayface.
Yep, we'll have Clayface, Catwoman, Red Robin, and then Robin, Damon Wayne, and then the events will be. Let's see, what events do we have?
Well, that's what leads me to think while we're on the Future Alliance, I think Red Robin's going to be the paywall character because last month the paywall character was
second.
Was Superboy. They had him second and then everybody got upset. They either had him first or second, then everybody got upset and then they moved him back a week. So if it follows the same pattern, Red Robin's going to be the paywall character and Clayface will be the freemium.
Okay. Well, we'll see if they continue to follow that.
And then they have a pretty big list of event eligible characters. Mostly Batman characters.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much the Batman universe. A little bit of
Suicide Squad,
Green Arrow, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's a big list, and a lot. They have Power Girl from last month, which is going to be helpful.
Yep. So hopefully nobody will have any issues with that, and it doesn't have the events yet.
No, that's all the information we got. It kind of seems a little late to me in the month but I guess.
Yeah, considering we're here.
Well, I know in December they gave us information really early.
They did, and I think that was just because Stanner was brand new and just dropping something to kind of get her name out there.
Yeah, so I don't know. It does seem a little late. The event starts on, I think they said the event starts. I'm not sure when it started. I think it started on the 5th, is what people said. It doesn't say it on here.
I haven't seen the information on it, so.
It's either the 1st or the 5th. So if it's the 1st, they should be telling us. They'll probably tell us as soon as we're done recording this so that we have to go back and record an extra section.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Yep. So I don't see anything official about the events yet, but
Exactly.
That's pretty much all the information we got on these characters right now in the reworks. So hopefully we'll know a little more soon about your precious Catwoman.
They better not live it down for me.
Yeah. All right, it's time once again for in-depth character analysis with Hate. Who do you got for us this week?
So I know I posted on the Reddit and the official forums and let everyone pick the characters they wanted. I don't know why I did that because the reworks were coming. So originally everybody picked Yellow Lantern, Sinestro, and Doomsday, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do either one because I had to save up all the materials for the new characters and then also gear out Robin because I know everybody's going to want to know what they can do and how they are right away. So I thought we would have those because when they announced this information, I thought we'd have it by now, so I figured I'd be doing those. So I had to do some backup characters, but these are two characters that people have been asking me about quite a bit, so I figured they would be a good second one. So the first one is we're going to do a quick relook at the Joker Clown Prince. Just so everybody knows, the rework order that I had for him was 21534, and the skill order upgrade was 32145. The big one on him is his acid humor is the strength of his kit. When you have other characters that cause enrage, he'll do crazy damage. That's the one thing that makes him pretty good. Usually about 41,000 to physicals. So when you have an enraged team, and that brings us to the other character I want to talk about, which is Ares. I'll have a lot of video with Joker Clown Prince with him. Ares is awesome pairing with him. So is Harley Quinn MJ, which everyone has. I know most people don't have Ares, but if you do have Ares, he's a great character. He works pretty well at Legendary 1, ideally at Legendary 2. Joker Clown Prince, he's one of those characters people keep asking me he's worth it. I would say probably no. I mean, he's a niche character. If Enrage becomes a bigger thing, he might be a better character, but you know, he's one of those characters. He's fun. If you really like Joker, you can make him work. He's not a bad character, but compared to what he was before the rework, he was a really good character that I would recommend doing. But now that they've done the rework, he's more of a niche character, which seems to be the direction they're going. They want more niche characters for some reason. Ares, though, absolute great character. I love Ares. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. He works well on most teams. At Gear 11, he is so hard to kill. I mean, he can take a beating. The legendary order I have for him is 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1. If you never want to use him as leader, I would take 1 or take 1 before 5 probably. But honestly, I wouldn't do that to yourself. Give yourself the option to use him as leader because his leadership is extremely good.
Yeah.
The first ability I would upgrade is his second ability, which is the Death or Glory. It's probably his best skill. It gives 4 strength up. It enrages the character you cast it on, which is the negative side. And it also gives him plus 28% turn meter once it's fully geared, or all the superpowers are at max. They'll also give death immunity to the character if they're below 50%. So if you have a character that gets hit hard on the opening attack, this is the character you want to cast that on. When you do the legendary upgrade, it will give 6 stamina ups, which a lot of people are like, but it only lasts 1 heal. Why would you want to take that first? Well, it's because as soon as they drop off, you keep the health. So before overheals, it was good, but it wasn't great if they weren't low on life. But now if you cast it on a character, even if they're at max life, when those drop off, they get the overheal. So that part's quite good, and it's hard to kill a person when you keep casting that on somebody. The next ability that I would upgrade is his third ability, which is the Energy War Sword. This is his big AoE. Slings a sword, hits everybody. It will enrage you. It almost always enrages at least 1, and anybody it enrages with the legendary upgrade will give them buff immunity as well. Before we had Red Hood and other ways to deal with Deathstroke, this was actually my go-to, and I would just hope that it landed on him, which it did more frequently than it probably should for some reason. But really strong ability. Definitely want to take that. The next one is his passive that I would upgrade, which gives him 8% turn meter, which this is his fourth ability. His passive gives him 8% turn meter. With his legendary upgrade, he'll also get a light heal whenever he enrages or crits, or anybody gets enraged or crit on. So this stacks up pretty quick. You'll see little heals ticking all the time as everybody's getting critical striked, and this is for the enemy team or your team, so it doesn't matter which side it is. His leadership, the God of War, is also extremely good. When it's fully maxed out, just the normal superpowers, he gets 80% increased health, and that is a ton of health. In addition, he'll also get 1 strength up, 21% turn meter if any character is enraged. So when you're playing an enraged team and you're throwing enrages all over the place, that actually gives him turns it moves his turn meter up quite fast. And if you put the legendary upgrade in that, it gives him another 40% health. So 100% health increase on top, and he already has quite a bit of health. If you're using him outside a leader, you'll see that he's quite tanky and can take a beating. I mean, he can take full shot Huntress to the face and only lose 20% of his life, if that. His basic, the Battle Fist, Has a 55% chance to stun if Ares or the target is enraged. So a lot of times what you'll do is you'll cast, if he's starting to get low in life, you'll cast his second ability on him, and then he'll get enraged, and then when he attacks the enemy, he has a high chance to stun him, which is quite nice. The legendary upgrade on is just -1 to his AoE ability. That's nice, but I mean, if you're only going to take him to legendary 4, or you're looking for a skill to not do, that's definitely the one. To upgrade his skills, I would probably prioritize 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. They're all pretty good, but the damage is probably the most significant on his kit. And as I mentioned before, teams that he pairs great with. He pairs great with Joker, Clown Prince, great with MJ. Yellow Lantern Sinestro is one I wanted to do for this episode, but I just didn't have the resources or time to do it. I think he also pairs extremely well. Also, crit-based characters, Hired Gun Deadshot. Reverse Flash has super high crit chance, so he crits all the time. And Aquamoa actually is really good with him as well. Steppenwolf, I forgot to mention Steppenwolf as well. Steppenwolf is fantastic with him
So I was
too.
going to say Steppenwolf
So
would fit. So unfortunately, I geared him out before we started doing this show and stuff, and I had him geared out when he first dropped. So I've got my legendaries in 4 and 5. So I'm kind of stuck here, unfortunately.
well, they're not bad, especially if you're using them as leader.
And that's what I use him as leader. But I'd really love that Death and Glory, especially now that, as you mentioned, the staminas can cause overheal. That's great. And it seems like Death and Glory is pretty much always up, too.
Yeah, it has a really low turn. It has a really low cooldown, so you can use it pretty frequently. Um, he's really good. He's a solid character, and the people may say, "Well, why don't I see him more?" Well, it's because he's not an easy. He was a paywall character, and
Yeah, he was a paywall character that I got before I quit the first time.
and there really has been very minimal amount of places for people to get him. I see he's one of those characters that people are like asking constantly where, you know, when will Ares be available, or can we have Ares available when people are asking for character shards that they want to see.
Yep. And who was your second character this week?
The next one I have is Hippolyta. I've been using her a ton because of Power Girl. She's pairs so well with her, and not a lot of people have her. She's another pretty rare character. But and I wasn't impressed with her at all back before Gear 11 came along, and then in the last month or two, I geared her out and came to realize just how good of a character she is. But with Power Girl, she just becomes phenomenal. The legendary order I have for her is 4, 5, 2, 1, 3. And this one's kind of a moving legendary order depending how you play and what kind of teams you tend to want to use for. If you prefer defensive comps, you may want to take her 2 much earlier, possibly 4, 2, 5, 1. Also, if you plan to use her leader a lot or not, you may want to move that up. As stuns become more prevalent, the same could be said for her offensive strength up comps, which that's what I've been running the most. So I done her legendaries before. I have her legendary 4, and the only one I don't have right now is it's her third ability, the Draw Swords, which is apply stun immunity to all allies. So she's one of those characters I feel she's really underrated. She's very strong. If she has not enough strength ups, I've one-shotted Hal Jordan Green Lantern with her big ability. Her fourth ability, which is the one I would upgrade first, is called Tip of the Spear. You can call assist on target. That target will gain 2 strength up, 2 agility ups. Plus, with the legendary upgrade, she has a 50% chance to call for an additional assist. So either that same character or another character will attack, and then they'll also gain the 2 strength up, 2 agilities.
I was going to ask, do both assistant characters get the strength ups?
Yeah, and they I mean that ability alone, most of the time I don't get to call assist, and I don't get to see it too often because she usually kills the character. But when you're fighting a character that's, physical affinity that she probably won't do that much damage to, having that double assist is awesome. Her leadership is another one that most people don't take, but I decided to take it because of the comps I was running, and it's quite good actually. It has a 100% chance to apply 1 stamina up every time an ally deals damage to an enemy. So this can add up really fast. It doesn't sound like much, but it's actually a lot better than you would think, especially if you're using somebody like Bane. So he's getting stamina up, stamina up, stamina up. And then with the legendary upgrade, she has a 25% chance to gain death immunity. So she usually, once all your characters get to take a turn, she usually has death immunity up every time. And the great thing about that is you can purge it, and then as soon as one of your characters take a turn, she has a chance to get it back again. So she has death immunity up almost all the time. So she's kind of a pain in the butt to kill. The Shields Up ability is the next one I would probably take. This one gives you 4 agility, a 13% shield to all your allies, But the drawback to it is it gives +3 to her draw swords, which was her other. She has two different buff abilities. One gives you agility up, one gives you strength up. And if you use the shields up ability to get the agility, then it gives a +3 cooldown to your draw swords. So you have to kind of force to decide if you want to go defensive or offensive pretty much at the beginning of the match.
This is a really interesting dynamic with that. I wish we would see that more.
Yeah, she's one of those characters you have to really think about what you're doing when you play with her because she's not your typical character. You kind of have to think about kind of like Poison Ivy. You have to really think about what you're doing in the match to get the best out of her. The only downside is on defense. She kind of stinks because she'll just cast her abilities randomly and there's no rhyme or reason to them. The legendary upgrade allows you to purge 2 debuffs from all allies. So I found this pretty useful when I need defense. And sometimes you will get to use both of them in the match if the match runs long. So there's been matches where my characters are close to dead and I'm able to cast that because 4 agility gives you a lot of defense and then plus 13% shield is no joke. Her basic, the 2 victory, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but when it crits, it does insane damage. It has a really high crit chance. And it also has a 30% chance to lower the cooldown of all your superpowers by 1, so that way you can use your buffs faster. With the legendary upgrade, it gives you another 30% chance, so you can have 60% chance to lower the cooldown. So when you do cast your basic, you'll have a chance to use one of her others. There's a long cooldown on her 4th ability, her strong tip of spear that calls assist. You rarely get to use that twice in a match, but every now and again you can if you've cast your basic enough times. Her other ability, draw swords, which I use all the time on my Power Girl teams. It does 3 strength up, plus 12% turn meter to all allies, but does have the +3 on the shields up. This upgrade isn't as fantastic just because it only applies stun immunity to all allies, the legendary upgrade, which isn't bad, but heavy stun comps really haven't been in the meta. And one thing I noticed with her and the teams I like running with her is I've been running Hippolyta lead, Cheetah, Power Girl, and then either Catwoman or Bane. And you'll cast Cheetah's turn meter up, strength up. You'll cast Hippolyta's turn meter up, strength up. You cast your taunt in strength up with Power Girl. On the next turn, everything dies.
Right.
And I'm sure if you saw the episode of Power Girl, I was running that team a lot too. For the skill order upgrade, I would probably do 4, then 5 if you plan to use her as leader, and then 1, 3, 2. The 5 you kind of move around depending on your threshold if you're using her for leader. I use her for leader anytime I don't need Red Hood or Steppenwolf. It's pretty much been my go-to. So
Very nice.
fun
Yeah, I've
character.
started gearing her up since you've been talking about her, and she works so well with Power Girl teams that I actually started gearing her up, but I haven't got to gear 10 yet. So, and I've only got her legendary 1.
She is a bit squishy as her downside. She will go down quick if doesn't have her death immunity up, but Power Girl kind of helps with that. She doesn't pair great with Harley Quinn because Harley Quinn does a lot of special damage, so the strength up aren't as quite as good for her. But Power Girl, all the strength up synergy is just phenomenal.
Crazy team comps with Ogre Barbarian.
All right, so we're going to go over some more team comps from Ogre. Unfortunately, due to scheduling, we were unable to have him on live for the conversation, but we do have his teams, and Hate's going to talk about it a little bit. Looks like the first team he sent you was a Hippolyta lead, Hal Jordan, Bane, and Poison Ivy.
Yeah, this seemed like a pretty interesting team. One he didn't include that I will talk about real quick that had a similar team comp was Green Lantern, Hippolyta, and 2 more Caller Sisters. So we were thinking Nightwing and Wonder Woman Coda. So a full
Okay.
call assist team. I think that would be a really fun, awesome team. I was actually going to try that. You'll probably see a video of it because I haven't recorded all the videos yet for this episode. But his thought process on this one is have Hal Jordan, Green Lantern for the call assist, Hippolyta for the call assist to get Bane and Poison Ivy rolling. And then Hippolyta can cast her buffs. Poison Ivy can copy those buffs across the team. So I could see this being a pretty tanky, fun team.
Did you get a chance to try it out?
No, I haven't. I will test it before, and I'll have some video of this one because I have all the teammates. It's the only team he sent me that I had all the characters gear. Ogre's favorite characters are like the 5 characters I don't have geared. So so he includes those a lot, which is actually in the second one. He has Ares, Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn MJ, and Medfill. I can see that being actually a really good fun team. There's a lot of synergy between all those characters. And I always forget that Swamp Thing can enrage too. So he would work out in those enraged teams.
He would, yeah. But I haven't geared out my Swamp Thing, so I always forget my Swamp Thing.
Yeah, there's a guy, and I'm blanking out his name right now. Let me see if I can find him real quick. He is one that has talked to me about. He's a big Swamp Thing fanatic, and he's constantly saying he doesn't want to see them do a rework. So that one, it's Vin. I'll pronounce it. It's Vishnudasa. I'm sure you've seen him on the in-game forums. If you peruse the in-game forums, he's pretty vocal in a lot of the chats. He's big on Swamp Thing, and he's also really big on the combination of World's Greatest Detective plus Poison Ivy. And Ogre's actually talked to me about that combo as well. But the Swamp Thing with Ares, I could see where that synergizes really well. You have Harley Quinn adding the extra enrages, and then man, I actually want to try this team with Joker instead of Medfill. But Medfill's on there to do the strength down, do the extra shielding, the damage immunity.
He's got a little heal, right?
Yeah, he's got a little heal and a shield. Medfill, I have him close to being geared, and he's a really strong character, and I think he actually probably fits into a lot more teams than you see him. 'Cause you see him every now and again, but you don't see him too often. His shards are hard to come by. I think I can take him to Legendary 3 now. I'm not far from being able to take him to Legendary 4.
Well, he's in the Alliance
Yeah.
shop.
So I buy
So
him every
yeah,
time it's up.
yeah, they're not hard to get, but
I mean, his one shield ability, 33% heal gain when you cast the ability, Shield of the Veteran. 33% shield, and I think it actually goes up a little bit higher. Yeah, it goes 38% shield at max. And taunt, and then gain 6 agility ups. That's pretty freaking tanky.
yeah, this whole team right here sounds like a pain in the butt to try to take out. That's gonna take. I honestly wouldn't even click on him just because of how long it'd take you to beat him.
Yeah, that would be a pain. I mean, and with the legendary upgrade, Medfill has that 2-turn damage immunity. You copy all that, put Poison Ivy on a team with him. He was a different one he had. I had that. I mean, this definitely seems like a good team.
All right, looks like he's got another team with Hippolyta, Poison Ivy, Batman,
Batman, World's Greatest Detective.
Greatest Detective, and Batman Dark Knight, which you were just talking about Poison Ivy, Batman, World's Greatest Detective combo. So
yeah, that combo is really good. The only thing I don't like about this team is that Hippolyta's probably, if she doesn't get her death immunity, and those are slower characters, she probably won't have her death immunity early, and with a physical heavy meta, Hippolyta will probably go down too fast. I'd probably want to replace Batman TDK with one of a taunt character like Power Girl. And
someone to take the pressure off the team.
Actually, I really would like that with Power Girl because she would provide her taunt early. You could strength up with Hippolyta or shield up, one or the other. Copy all those buffs
I
across.
think he had a thought of shielding up with her.
Yeah.
Because the shield with World's Greatest Detective, Dark Knight rather. I think that's what he was thinking with this team.
Yeah, I could see it being a good team. I just think it's going to be a little too slow. But with Batman, the big advantage with Batman World's Greatest Detective is you can get Poison Ivy to go a second turn real quick. So you can get your buffs up and then copy buffs. Get the taunt.
Yeah.
So if Poison Ivy gets a turn, she can cast the taunt on Batman. TDK is probably the route he was thinking with that. Wish we could have had him on here so he could explain a little more detail. We were kind of rushed because we thought we were going to be doing the rework characters instead, but since looks like they're coming out in a few days, we'll have to talk about them next week.
Yep, you'll have a whole week of crying about Catwoman to get out on the next episode.
Yeah, I'll have that. We'll likely have, if they rotate the paywall character like they have in the past, we'll see the rotated paywall character. So, because usually it seems like in previous months, the paywall character was at the beginning of the month, and then he was in the middle of the month. So, I don't know. And that could be, well, it won't be Clayface. That's what I was thinking. It might be Clayface first, but people would be upset if they usually always do the PvP week before the paywall characters week. So they may release the paywall character first, but his PvP may be later. So I don't know what we're going to see. Either way, I have all the gears saved up and waiting for both characters. So as soon as they drop, I'll have some video up on YouTube for it.
We wanted to talk to you about a serious problem in the world today.
Our podcasters can't afford gems, but you can help.
If you donate just $1 a month, you can continue to fuel this addiction.
And lend support to their morbid obesity.
All right, and now we have a special interview for you. cpJokerOC was kind enough to come on and do an interview with us, and
Yeah, he's the in-game another in-game forum moderator. We're doing the rounds with the mods this month.
all right. Well, first we'd like to get to know you, Joker, a little better. How long have you been playing DC Legends?
I've been playing since, I'd say, February of last year.
And what's your favorite DC Universe character?
Right now, ironic as it is, I like Batman CC. He's got a hell of a kick.
That is true. What would be one of your favorite team comp to run?
Right now, I'm messing around with Lex SS, with Black Adam, Reverse Flash, and Harley, of course.
Very nice, very nice. How did you become a moderator?
There was a few problems with a hacker on the forum, and I was part of the team that got him out of there, so I was nominated in with Macho Man.
I got a question for you. I figured you'd probably know the answer. Do you know if Stanner is a temporary community manager, or is she the official community manager now? On the official forums, Deuced, however you pronounce his name, he told me he thinks she's a temporary community manager.
No, she's in there full-time.
That's what I
She's
thought.
she's the full-time manager.
Okay, I'll have to mention that to him because that's what I thought too. I thought that was a big announcement about that, but that's what he stated when we were asking about the lack of communication for this current month, and he said, well, we don't have a permanent community manager, and I thought that's what Stanner was now.
Yes, definitely. I can talk to him about it later today. We're in constant communication as well.
Okay, somebody told me Stanner is a she. Is it a he?
It's a she.
Oh, okay, I just didn't want to say it incorrectly. And now I got to ask you about it since I know you've been pretty quiet about this topic, but I know you weren't too happy about the Joker rework.
No, not at all.
And for those of you out there, I was being facetious about
this early. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said for those of you out there, I was being facetious about the being quiet about it. Joker has a very huge thread requesting a petition to get Joker reworking.
That's not my thread, but I am a part of it, and I promote it as much as I can.
I got to ask you, what do you think about the Catwoman rework?
I haven't seen how it works yet. Dishing out the immunities sounds like it might be a perk, though.
Yeah, it's going to be hard if she loses that ability to take away all buffs, though. That's probably the part that we'd hate to see gone.
I can definitely see your fears in that.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I use Catwoman in 90% of my teams. I absolutely love Catwoman as a character, so I'm worried about any rework because I think she's perfect the way she is now.
How are you feeling about the Robin rework?
I'm happy with that just because, well, I just geared Robin this past weekend, so I didn't have a whole lot of experience with him before, but I mean, he's not a great character, so I'm okay with him getting reworked to become more usable. I know a few people weren't happy because if it's a character you use frequently and you've gotten used to their kit and you like using them, the reworks can be jarring. But in Robin's case, he's, the general consensus is that he isn't a great character, so based on what they're saying, he sounds interesting, but it's hard to tell right now until we see exactly what he does.
I think as long as he holds on to those bleeds, everyone will be happy, so long as it doesn't switch to something stupid like an Enrage.
Yeah, well, honestly, at this point, if they're going to leave Joker the way he did, and with Ares and Yellow Lantern Sinestro, if they want to make Enrage a thing, you almost need some more synergy with the Enrages. Because I've been running an Ares, Joker, Harley Quinn, MJ team with a fair amount of success, but I think it needs one more thing to really kind of make it viable. But I'm with you. I don't particularly think Enrage as a mechanic is that attractive.
Well, it's not the point. He's supposed to be versatile, stand in with any group whatsoever, not lean on a bunch of losers like Sinestro and Ares.
Yeah.
So I noticed here that you posted a thread about what hero or villain do you want to see in March, and it looks like you already have someone that you'd like to see. You want to comment on that?
Those ideas just kind of are thrown out there to wet everyone else's lips, give them some ideas to pop out their own. I do those about every month or so, see what everybody likes, get a general idea of who's the most called for character, and pass it on to Stan or whoever wants to listen.
And then we only had one final question before you go. I've heard that you do an incredible Mark Hamill Joker laugh. If you could grace us with that, I would much appreciate it. Wow, that was great.
That was fantastic.
Good job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here.
Anything
We
else
appreciate you.
you want to mention or discuss while you're on here before we let you go?
Oh, I think we're good. Thank you so much.
We appreciate having you on here, and I'm sure we'll see you around in the game.
Take care. It was a pleasure.
We're still working on doing our new player profile. It'll probably be a bi-weekly thing. Unfortunately, the player that we had lined up is not interested in helping us any longer, so through no fault of his own, it just didn't work out to where he could help us. So we're trying to line up a second person that could do it for us, and hopefully we'll have some material from that coming up next
And
week.
while we're on that subject, if anybody out there is a new player listening to this and you have a lot of questions about the game and you are open to being on a podcast, reach out to me in game under hate mail. I'm easy to find, or Reddit, or Discord, or line chat. I'm in all the above. Or if you know a player that you think would be a good addition to this podcast for a couple weeks that we could ask some questions. We're looking for a player who's very new. So you've only been playing for maybe a month or two at the most. So we think that would be an interesting topic for the new players out there. So if anybody out there fits that bill, please reach out to us. You can also send an email to WeRRRLegends@gmail.com. Do you like the show? Consider becoming a patron and get a special show each month, our special Q&A episode. It's only $1 to have access to this. Check it out at patreon.com, WeRRRLegends.
Thanks for listening. You're not going to say anything?